Welcoming you back to crypto's juiciest news. Baby dolls, Biddy coin has slightly flushed up back to 109,000 American dollars. Just when we thought that the party was going to end and we're going to go sideways in skits, it has a little bit of a pop-up. But that's how you know it's a bull market during these times, right? However, friends, if I just quickly zoom into Biddy coin, this is a very stock standard pattern, by the way. It just comes back exactly to the retrace. Isn't that funny? Like right back to the fib. Isn't that funny? Like literally just shoots back up. So usually these things, nothing just drops in a straight line. There's always like this little jittery down, and then there's like these last minute buyers that come in usually to stuff out here. Now, I don't know what happens next. No one knows what happens next, but I'm going to go through a lot of cracker news today. We're going to go through James Wynn, who I listened to all of his interview on Crypto Banter. So you won't have to. I'll save you so much time, friends. Highest value content in crypto out here. So first, we'll just go through a bit of the TA stuff, right? So obviously Ethereum, nice monthly candle, but we really need, we need that business cycle to continue up, don't we? We need Ethereum really to go back, start shooting up, and then break that 3,800 so we can continue the dream higher. The Biddy coin dominance is still hanging up high around 64%. So we all know, friends, nothing in the Bitcoin dominance is going to move without Ethereum. We're just waiting for Ethereum to move. As we saw as well, the flash PMI came out extremely hot, 52.3. Now, some people are confused. Remember, it's not the normal PMI. They call it flash PMI, and I think it just comes out a week or two early, and it's like a forward reading. It's just like a early estimate, and then they revise it over time. So maybe they ask over like say 400 manufacturing PMIs. Maybe they get like the first 50. And they compute from the first 50 to give them like an early read, and then they wait for like the next 350 to get the full number. So pretty much though it's 52.3, which is huge. That's alt season stuff. Yeah, so pretty much the business cycle is going to continue. Now it's quite interesting how it's all going to play out from here. So we flashed up to 52. So this is the most important part, what we know from the past. Okay, so when PMI hits 52, the cycle has been over. The earliest was 10 months. The longest was 18 months. Okay. Now, this time could be different. We have no idea. What I like, though, is nobody in crypto at all whatsoever talks about the PMI. No one. The only person who even knows what the hell it is Raul. Okay. Raul's macro as well. So no one talks about it. No one talks about them having correlation with the business cycle, being altcoins, which is what I like. Okay, because that means like the crowd's not even looking at that. So no one even has hopes and dreams. So what it basically means is like, for example, like let's say everybody did look at the PMI. Okay, and they're like, oh wow, we've got at least 10 months to go in the bull market. So if everybody was thinking that way, it's not necessarily true, but it could be a bit dangerous, because it could mean that a lot of people out there, they've got a lot of leverage on because they feel safe, because they think we're not going to crash until like 10 months from now, which means like next year, March, April, May, right? So they're like, oh, okay, cool. I don't have to do anything. I can just stay turbo leveraged long. But right now, we're not seeing that, okay? No one believes in the PMI. No one's even done that data analysis that I've done. Not a single person, friends, when I come back and I checked it, right? So when this PMI comes out, because the flash PMI has hit 52.3, maybe it does start up here. And yes, it does crank up. And then we can complete the business cycle, right? Remember, crypto tops out before stocks, right? And stocks keep like, rotating and topping around. But we've got quite a while to go. Now, the thing is as well, we haven't even had one alt season yet. Okay, now this is where it gets even more controversial as well, because if you say, hey, if we haven't had an alt season, what was last year? Well, it depends how you measure it, man, because here's the thing, friends. Truthfully, people did make a lot of money in alts, in Solana. But it's the top of the top. It's the big grifters, right? But they did make a gargantuan amount of money because Solana went up. Okay, but for the rest of the crypto industry, they didn't. But you got to be careful, right? Because many people hold into 2021 because not everything had its alt season, right? So normally, this is what I can see, right? In others BTC, when you have repetitive green monthly candles, it's showing you altcoins happening, altcoin season. Last year, all we got was one. We literally got one freaking candle and then we died. And then we got another one in Trump and then we died again. Literally 6 red in a row. So In the past, we had 5 green in a row and we had 6 green in a row. And I'm sure for this, if we had the data for April 2013, I'm sure it'd say the same. Actually, for April 2013, I remember doing it as well. It actually did have multiple green monthly candles. The thing though, there weren't too many altcoins. However, check this out. Bitcoin did, see, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green months in a row. And around here, they actually launched Litecoin and XRP launched on exchanges in the euphoria. It's kind of crazy how it worked, right? And I'm sure there were altcoins that are just dead now. But yeah, funny. XRP basically gets launched around this period of time on exchanges. So you can actually go back and check. So see, look at this Bitcoin doing like 6 green in a row, right? So it's these repetitive green monthly candles, right? It's kind of amazing how why it's like that. But I hope it stays like that for this one. See, no one's looking at it at all. Not a single person. That's why I like it. See, friends, that's why it's esoteric friendship. You know, like my friend Carlin Talks Crypto. He shows you the global M2 liquidity, right? Which obviously I've been covering that because Raoul Powell has been covering his charts for that for yonks, yeah. But I know everyone is like long it. Everybody's long Bitcoin because of the global M2 liquidity thing, this exact correlation, right? Then I found it interesting that when your friend Sommi here, when I put the PMI stuff, no one cares. When I show you the repetitive green monthly candles, no one cares. Like it never catches on, which is good, right? It is good. Because if you're just in this game to be popular, you want your stuff to catch on. Because you're like, oh, I'm popular, but bro, who gives a shit? Firstly, they're not going to remember your name in literally 3 years. There's going to be a new big grifter. You're just going to be like, you know, eaten up and spat out. And secondly, if everybody starts to like follow your stuff, it means you are attracting all the weak hands, and it means like you're at the bottom of the barrel now, and you don't have many people left to do that idea, right? So that's what I like about Carlin Talks Crypto stuff. He's got a lot of the plebs, and they basically, the plebs friends have been focusing on that. They don't care about my green monthly candle repetition. They don't care about PMI. They don't care about others BTC, which is good. That's double thumbs up for us. And it really is spooky and magical when you think about it. I mean, like imagine one day I'm giving an interview years from now and everything like hit the moon targets, and I got to kind of explain. I'm like, yeah, like it looks easy, but it's not, because a lot of what I'm doing is I'm like just throwing candy out to the crowd. And then like, I want to see if they react. Yeah, but this is just naturally. And if they do react, I'm like, oh crap, what does this mean? You know, is it just the baby dolls reacting, or is it like getting too popular? And it's not just me, right? So Carlin Talks Crypto, for example, perfect example, the global M2 liquidity rotation. That's why when I've even shown you this, what was the first thing I did when I showed you this? I said, look, it wouldn't surprise me if we go 3/4 of the way, Bitcoin does that, and then like Ethereum keeps going. Like the hated coin follows the global M2, and then all the liquidity leverage, you guys get wiped out. You're all long Bitcoin at 125K, and then like wicks down below 100, bang, and just gets them out. You know, so it's not gonna, I don't know if it's gonna happen. I'm just showing you like, that's already how my mind's thinking, because that's how I know the market works. It works like that, right? Everybody gets trapped, and then you get cascades on the other way. Now, I'll quickly just show you PulseChain core coins as well. We're all waiting for alt season. Nothing is moving, but the people's Bitcoin pWBTC is moving up. But if you really want to have a look at it, friends, you can look at the pWBTC to pDAI ratio. So it's done this move up. Remember, it's actually nice along the line. Now, here's the thing. To me, it is around fair value here. All right. Now, I know you dirty little mongrels in crypto. You guys can't hold fair value for shit. So I don't buy anything at fair value ever in crypto, and you don't either. Look at the past 4 years, okay? Crypto never goes to fair value, bro. It goes to fair value. It makes you think fair value is going to hold, and then it goes way, 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 way too cheap. Breaks your balls and your ovaries. Some people got both these days, right? So I hope this thing just goes up forever, okay? But by the way, when have you ever heard a happy ending to the story of anything in crypto where someone says, I hope it just keeps going up forever? Never. Okay. So maybe it is at fair value right now. I am ready at some point in the future. Remember, friends, this is like months. Okay. I'm looking at a 3-day chart. You know, this could be like the end of this year. I expect, or I'm guessing, and I don't know shit. All right. At some point, pDAI, its run is too strong, and pWBTC can't catch up to it. So the ratio goes down. Everyone thinks it's cheap and it does something like pop. Okay, I'm expecting something like that. And when this happens, I'll gladly accumulate the pWBTC. Now, remember, for the ratio to do this number, for it to go down here, pretty much, see this minus 75%? That basically means pDAI goes up 4 times for every 1 unit that pWBTC goes up. And by the way, this is over the next 4 to 5 months, man. So it's not now. This is what I'm expecting or guessing at some point. So maybe pDAI goes on a 40x run, and then pWBTC goes on a 10x run. Okay, so that would bring it to $5,000. That's still a big number. Look at this. See, pWBTC is at 540 bucks. Imagine it still went up on a whopping 900% run. Here you go, all the way up here. And then you go look at pDAI. You're like, hey, what would a 40x move in the unstable coin pDAI look like? Well, if you just keep your pants on right now, friends, I'll actually show you. Right, where would a 40x take us? It would be like, wee, all the way up. There you go. It'd be around, very interesting actually, around 12 cents. It doesn't have to happen, by the way. I just drew squiggly lines, okay? It does not have to happen at all. It's just that, like, you know markets by now, bro. You know altcoins, where you think altcoins can hold fair value of anything, you know? You know they don't. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to crank it a bit. Okay. Now I've gone through everything. Let's get to the juice. James Wynn, a $1 billion HyperLiquid leverage trader. He went onto Crypto Banter show and he did an interview, friends, with Rainy Boo. I listened to all of it. I'll just be honest. Okay, yeah, lovely gentleman and everything. Obviously anonymous. Some people guess he's from... Actually, let's not even talk about his location. I just don't worry about it. But it's a rags to riches story. Also, shout out to Ragsy Boo. He started off with pretty much zero, and he's a heavy punter. And I guess he's like that one guy who punts a lot, and he hit it big. I think he said he made 50 grand in 2017, and then he round-tripped it all to zero. And then in 2019, 2020, he got into DeFi. So obviously what happened was, because he had the punting urge, he obviously bought the DeFi tokens at the end of 2019, right before they went on their like turbo nuclear run. Now, he didn't have enough time to really speak about the coins or anything. It doesn't really matter, but I'll just show you, for example, look what Synthetics did, right? So he could have been buying like Synthetics at the end of 2019, and look what ends up happening, right? I'm just showing you, yeah. Synthetics, friends, at the end of 2019, okay, so even from here, right, halfway 2019 to the top of the bull, this is a 100x run. I mean, if you were buying Synthetics at the beginning of 2019, holy moly, man, this is, whoa, 600x. He never said Synthetics, so I'm just showing you DeFi coins went on a massive nuclear run, and they peaked here August 2020, so it was up 126x, right? And then, like, imagine that, right? So Ethereum was 300 bucks. So if you turned 10 grand into 500 grand, that's what a lot of the Ethereum maxis did. So they dumped all the DeFi tokens on everybody, and then they rotated into Ethereum. And then Ethereum did another 10x. So that's how they all made a lot. But now they're suffering for it, right? That's why, like, if you see, it's like, oh, I win. And now Ethereum's been basically dog shit for 4 years, right? Plus. So, but that's pretty much what I wanted to show you. But he does not explain exactly how we got there. There is one of his big mega trades though, which he, this is interesting, right? So James Wynn, friends, so actually I'll play for you a bit of his voice. So I'll just let you listen to it a bit.
Guys are all trying to get it, understand it, like fake it. A lot of you guys are all creating your own meme coins, then it goes to zero like rapid time. It don't even go to 2 mil market cap because you can't, you don't understand it. You don't get. I'm not talking to you, Ron, but well, you are.
I know. Yeah, so it's awesome, friends, as well. You know Pepe? So he made a big money in Pepe. I think he made 30 to 70 million on Pepe. But this is the funny part about it. What a story. He was buying Pepe in 2021 cycle. He said, you know how we had Dogecoin Mania? He kept buying all the Pepe tokens released on Uniswap, and all of them went to zero. He kept buying them and buying them because he believed in Pepe that much. He's like, I know it's going to be big. I know it's going to be big one day. He kept hitting and everything went to zero. It was just before its time. 2021 was Doge and SHIB. SHIB did 1,000,000x. Doge did the, the 220x from Elon Musk, right? So you had all that meme coin, that dog coin, funny coin mania. Yeah, but he kept buying Pepe, and Pepe never hit. Interesting, right? But then when it came to the real Pepe, he got in, it was that 600K market cap. When it went to 4.2 million, so this is another thing. So he got it at 600K, then he was up like 8 to 8x already. Then he makes his thesis on it. He's like, oh, this thing's going to hit 4.2 billion, another 1,000x. And he did. Okay, so he made like 30, 40, 50 or 60 or 70 million. But he's actually worth more than that, actually. So he has been leveraged trading on HyperLiquid. So a lot of us fans, like obviously me, I've been trading for a long time. We were all scratching our heads because we're like, bro, why do you have so much money advertising on HyperLiquid, a public exchange? You understand how dangerous that is? If everybody can see your stop, everybody can just collude, and people do that. Predators do that, and they just swipe you. They know exactly where your stop is. They just got to send it. And he never actually got targeted. You know what I actually said? He says he believes that he had like this weird feeling. He believes that market makers were watching him, and he goes, it would come pretty close to his stop. And it's like they want the underdog to win. But we were like in disbelief. We thought there's no way this guy's really just trading. Like this is like an anomaly. He probably has like a hedge somewhere else. But he actually didn't. He's actually just like a punter. But people have checked out his accounts, friends, and you don't have like this mad like winning. Oh, like he just keeps buying and selling stuff. No, it's like he participates in all of the like these grifter coins and like these trash coins and stuff out here as well. So it's not like there's anything for you to particularly learn from. But he is a big punter. He just does this. He says he loves the casino. He said him and his dad used to go to casino when he was young. He loves the thrill. It's basically just like he's in the trenches as a degen. He just got like, you know, he's doing like 40x leverage on freaking like, you know, $20 million positions, which is redonkulous. And yeah, so going through the interview, but this is where the story, friends, it's get a bit juicy for you, okay? Here's a Pokeball, by the way, okay? He thinks, so in the interview, he goes, I think the cycle's all over in July. And then Randy Boo goes, yeah, I think July as well. Maybe August. It's not how Rand talks, but it's how Rand talks now. And I'm thinking, have you heard that? You've heard that from me, friends. You're watching me every single day. You watch me every single day. Have I not told you? Every Tom, every Dick, every Harry, every Jessica, every Crystal, right? Shout out to all the crystals working the pole as well. Every single one of them thinks the cycle's over in July. Blockchain Backer thinks the cycle's over in July. Uncle Bobby thinks the cycle's over in July. You notice? They're all totally different. In the trenches, hosting a show. Ivan on tech. Sir Ivan, the technologist, also thinks the cycle's over like really, really soon. BCB uses daily Elliott wave stuff. Dailies. He thinks the cycle's over in July. James Wynn as well, friends. He put this cycle thing up, Wall Street cheat sheet, and he says, look what it says. This is April, May, June, July. He thinks it's all over July, and then it's pretty much all over. So that's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about everyone believing that the cycle is like totally over very soon. And if I just bring up the Bitcoin chart, remember this is what Blockchain Backer and everyone's got drawn. They believe, so here's July, that we're literally going to go up, right? Maximum, 120, 130K, and then like that, alt season, right? This is the final alt season, and then it's all over. They all think that's happening. It's very interesting. Everyone thinks it's over in July. You know, they think, oh, but the 40 cycle up and down. Well, this is where, like, that's why, friends, I went deep, very deep. And I wanted to find out, what is the 40 cycle? What's 4-year cycle mean? Is the Bitcoin halvening? No. It's the 4-year global debt rollover cycle. Okay. What is going on during the 4-year debt rollover cycle? It's the business cycle. Okay, how do we measure the business cycle? You see, friends, I kept getting my magnifying glass and I kept saying, hey, show me your willy! Show it to me! Over and over and over again until I'm getting down into the weeds now. Okay? So we discover the PMI cycle. Yeah, you go, oh, wow, this is pretty much coinciding with crypto, right? Altcoins. Yeah. So obviously when we listen to Carlin Talks Crypto and the global liquidity cycle, this correlates with Bitcoin. Okay. This is why Bitcoin is actually special, friends. BTC. So it's actually statistically special in crypto. You know how we say, oh, everything's shit and this isn't? No, it's because Bitcoin correlates to global M2. That's why. They turn the money printers on Gold grows anywhere from like 5 to 10%, but Bitcoin in the past 4 years to 4 years, it's been growing at 67%. By the way, the number used to be like multiple hundreds of percent. It's actually slowing down, and people still think it's going to keep going up, but I don't think so. I don't want to bet against. Look, see, it used to grow at 400% per year, every year. Then in the next halvening, 165% per year. That's 2.6x every year. Then about a 2x every year. Then 67%. So halvening to halvening, 2020 to 2024, it grew at 67% per year. So I just guessed 40% per year. If you grow up 40% per year, friends, by 2028, Bitcoin's about 250K. Okay, so... But everyone who's like holding Bitcoin, because they never want to venture out of it, they're never going to ever believe in this world where like it starts to not accelerate. Like they think definitely it's going to break the cycle now, right? Which is, you call like, of course, bro, because you're turbo long Bitcoin, you don't want to touch an altcoin. So you have to believe that it's going to keep accelerating. So that's why, friends, I kept asking the questions like, so I'm going to stick to my guns. Everyone thinks the cycle's over. Think about all these people have stacked up. All these people have stacked up. I'm like, look, man, it could be over, but I don't think it's getting started, bro. It hasn't gone started. And if PMI ticks 52, okay, now we've just started. So I don't know how long it's going to go for at all, but it hasn't started to me, you know? So can the cycle like tick 52, then we have 2 months and it's all over? That to me is not a business cycle, bro. That is like a little flash in the pan, and I'm happy to hold through whatever comes after that. So we'll see how far it goes. Now, friends, cracking on with more news as well. Florida have proposed eliminating state capital gains tax on Bitcoin, and they even mention XRP and stocks. So I don't know if a lot of this is like BS talk, or maybe they're going to tax just the trading. That'll be interesting, right? If they try to replace capital gains, they try to tax you on chain stuff. I wonder if they could do something like that. But also there's a problem, right? Many countries, what you probably find is if people make $1 million in a lot of your countries, okay, they know, oh crap, I owe the government 300,000. What do? I know. I'm going to say I got hacked, catch a plane to Dubai, stay there for 6 months, get their little temporary citizenship thing, and then just start cashing out over there, which you can. You pay no tax, or maybe 5% max business tax. But everyone will do that. By the way, I already know people who are literally doing that. And if you go check on chain, friends, like there's Frank the God's one of the LA vape bar guys, the Indian dude, right? He already did like a fake hack. Like he just did, his account just got hacked, just moving accounts. And by the way, he's moving to Dubai, I think. So you see what I mean? So everyone's doing it. So you can't stop it, right? Because that's crypto, right? So you can't, how can you prove someone knows or doesn't know your keys? Yeah, they can just penetrate you from anywhere. So I almost feel like governments will be forced to be like, okay, you don't have to pay tax on this thing. We'll call like Bitcoin money, and then they have to find other ways to basically get their revenue from it. In other news as well, friends, latest news, digital asset funds saw 3.3 billion in weekly inflows, pushing it to a record 10.8 billion. We have Bitcoin at the highest. Now, when you see these flows and stuff out here, I want you to remember, like, these are just, they're reflexive from the price. Okay, so these are like the charts of everything coming up here, right? So the flows, friends, the price moves first, and then you hear about the flows. Okay, you can't be looking at these charts and be like, oh, wow, flows are up. Like they're all saying the same thing. It's all baked into the price. That's the most important thing to check out. Check this out as well. Publicly traded DDC Enterprise buys 21 Bitcoin as part of a bold 3-year plan to accumulate 5,000. So what I can see is everyone's going to say that they're going to own like, oh, we all want to buy 500,000 BTC. I got a feeling they're all just going to say that to create a bid on their stock, and the insiders are going to be dumping on everyone at the top of this bull. And then we're going to have like a recession for America or something after it's done. That's what I feel like is going to happen, where they're all going to say, we're all going to buy Bitcoin. And so what happens, so why do they do that, right? It's so the people buying the stock, they're pricing in Bitcoin's future into the stock today so they can dump. You know who did this, by the way? Have you heard of a little man called Elon Muskrat? You know, Elon did that in 2021. I'll show you as well. It's actually quite genius. Genius, but yeah, grifter. So it is. What do you want me to say, right? So what he was doing was, if you notice around here, friends, Elon was dumping. Yeah, Elon was dumping billions and billions of dollars of Tesla. But what was Elon saying at this time? Do you want to know what he was saying? He was talking about going to Mars here. So he's like, oh, we're going to go to Mars in 10 years. We'll all be on Mars. They'll all be driving Tesla flying cars. So what is that? It's a market. It's talking up your book, market manipulation type of talk. Okay, well, I've got to use that word. What else do you want me to do? I'm trying to help you, right? I don't give a shit about these people, right? They're billionaires already, okay? I'm trying to help you. So what they do is they talk about future events so far in the future to grab all the potential buyers out there to come buy today. That's why. So if you talk about what we're going to do tomorrow, you only get people who are like interested in what you're going to do tomorrow. But if you talk about what we're going to do next year, now you've opened up another 12 months of potential buyers, people who are looking out there. Okay, but then if you say, oh, in 10 years, we're going to be on Mars. In 11 years, we're going to be on Saturn. In 13 years, whoa, Disneyland will be on the moon. When you start talking like that, all the people out in the marketplace are like, oh, I'm so confident of the future. I've got money I don't need for 10 years. Take my $500, take my $20. And that's what ends up happening. And that's how you have the bid up here. What was he doing at the same time? Dump. Okay, so it's a look out for this the next time we see it in stocks, right? Once you start seeing these people, these big executives, they start talking about a 30-year plan. We have a 400-year plan for Tesla. In 400 years, you'll have a flying skateboard, right? They want to grab all that future demand, all of it, and they want to bring it into today. So you've learned something today, haven't you? NVIDIA has planned to launch cheaper AI chips for China following US export restrictions. So AI is eating the world. So what I feel like, friends, AI is a hot debate. A lot of people who are... I was watching one of the stock market trader, Be the Trader, right? Because I like watching just trader interviews and stuff out here. And one guy, there's a gentleman here, he's 91 years old. It was actually right here, okay? 90-year-old millionaire, 90-year-old trader. It's actually literally 90 years old. I'm going to tell
you something that you can take to the bank. In this business, people will try to make you...
If you're curious, it was when he first joined the floor. He said the first lesson he ever got, and they said, people will try to make you buy and they'll try to make you sell, you know, and you should always be trying to do the opposite. That's what he says when he first walked into the floor, like whatever, 60, 70 years ago. But yeah, so I think, I forgot his name, maybe his name was Joe, but yeah, that gentle sir, that Jadot, right? So God bless him, by the way, been punting for like 90 years, right? 90 years old now. He thinks we're going to get a 3-year bear market. He believes, it's kind of interesting, right? He goes 1929 was the top of the Dow Jones before the Great Depression. And I'll show it to you right now. 1929 was a top, right? And then we dropped 85, 90%. So he thinks 2029, 100 years later, he thinks this is going to be the bottom right here. He thinks somewhere here is going to be the bottom. So he thinks we're going to like go into this bear market, something happens, and he thinks it's going to be really long and drawn out, where like it's always going to make everyone think that, you know, it's going to be a bear market, and then something like that. So that's pretty much what it looked like. So when you're going through it, like you don't know, right? Because this is the thing with the stock market, friends. See, everyone thinks, oh, I'll just sell the top. No, you won't, bro. You don't know it's a top, dude. It's made like it looks like it's going up, right? And then it's like, oh, and then it stop, and then there's a big event, a capitulation. Then they like maybe stimulate a bit, they cut rates, and everything's okay, and everything's sweet. Everyone's like, sweet, we're gonna go to new highs. That's what everyone thinks. But then what ends up happening is you roll down a bit, right? Now you're in crypto bear market, and then like, oh, everything's gonna be sweet, and then yeah, like that, right? And then maybe there's another scare. And before you know it, you're like, oh my gosh, we've gone nowhere for like 7 years, right? So 2029, here goes 6 years, 5, 6 years. We're like, oh my gosh, we've literally gone nowhere. In fact, if you go to the top of 2021, you're like, oh my gosh, we've only made 15% return in freaking 9 years. That's how it happens. That's how bear markets happen, right? So he thinks we get something like that, which is, I just found interesting, yeah? It's interesting to think about. He said, you know, you got to be flexible. Could be a year earlier, could be a year later, and there could be AI that's boosting stuff around, but he's a bit skeptical on the AI stuff, but like, yeah, it's interesting to think about, right? What we know is though, friends, crypto is like the last pure signal left. You know, it's interesting. He also says, it's funny, just says the same stuff as me. It's like I'm a 90-year-old soul. He says, tops are so much more easier to spot than the bottoms. He goes at the tops because everyone is like super euphoric. He goes, but at the bottoms, because remember, he's 90 years old, right? He's lived through all these bottoms where, maybe I'll just give you an idea of some of the stuff he's lived through. Like, look at the tech crash, right? Check this out, right? Bottom, 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 like that. You see that? So this thing just wears everybody out. It just takes so long. These are monthly candles, by the way, you know? And also other periods of time. I mean, this was literally freaking hell. You want to talk about hell on earth? This was literally hell on earth, friends. This was literally, oh no, look at this, goes up, oh no, going nowhere, and then finally ready to go. By the way, this period, if you're curious what that was, that's the high inflation period. So we had Arthur Burns who came in and inflation was high and killing the economy for like multiple years. And then poor Volcker came in, he hiked rates, he induced a recession at the beginning of Ronald Reagan's term. And because he basically eradicated and reset the economy with the inflation, it was able to then boom after that, okay? So if you're curious, that's why major loser Jerome Powell, that's why he doesn't want to cut rates. Because he doesn't want to take any chance that he stokes inflation. Because look, we still speak about Arthur Burns today. I mean, it's been like, my gosh, like 50 years and we still shit on his name. Because it was kind of interesting, right? You know, friends, the inflation, you know what the interest rate was? You're probably thinking this guy stimulated too much. Arthur Burns' interest rates are like 5%. It's just that inflation was like 7. Yeah, and he didn't want to put rates to like 8 or 9. But because he didn't put rates to 8 or 9 for like 4 or 5 years, it kept building up. So when Paul Volcker put the rates up, he had to put them up to those ridiculous amounts, like 15, 18%, to finally kill it and induce a recession. You see how these things play out, but we all know it's a bunch of Fugazi bullshit anyway. But that's pretty much, that's the money supply and how it all works. Now we're in a different scenario now, because back then the debt to GDP was only about 25% of the economy. Now for America it's 130%. So every rate hike, it's like 4 times more damage. Yeah, that's why rates are high, but like it's, yes, but you know, that's pretty much how it works in a nutshell. Continue on with news as well, friends. Microstrategy has bought 4,000 more Bitcoin for $400 million. So they bought out 106K each, and now they have, if I check it out, they now have 580,000 BTC. Their average price right now, friends, live, it has just hit 70,000 American dollars. Their average price has now crossed up to their, man, I remember in the bear market, they were 28,000. Now they're up to 70,000. You see that? So we do expect, and by we, I mean me, more money will flow into them because everybody just wants to be on the winning team. See, a lot of you are probably asking, why don't you just go buy Bitcoin? It's Michael Saylor, bro. He's just a shiller. He's a massive, mad shiller. He's like one of the best shillers. He's convincing nations like Bitcoin's going to go to $13 million tomorrow. He's literally, remember, he's just like, this is the best technology. You know, you don't need anything like this. He goes, you're using bow and arrows and this thing's a nuclear weapon. You know, it's just all these words, it just penetrates their head. And Michael Saylor called Apple back in like 2004 or 2008. And then Apple did a 120x move, right? Literally, the stock did 120x, right? So he's got a lot of credibility here. That's why I won't be surprised, right? His average price hits 100K, and then maybe in the final 1 or 2 months, something really stupid happens where like he just gets access to like a boatload of money, and it like just shoots up his average price to like 130, 140K, something where I'm like, oh crap, now it's over. There's no way this is sustainable, right? So yeah, we'll see what happens after that point. Also, friends, Binance has launched live trading on Binance Square, letting users watch and interact with creators' real-time trading strategies. Now, I'll probably have to make a whole video on this, friends. Don't do this. They don't work. Everybody who does copy trading, it works for a little bit, then you lose. Even good traders, when they do it, it just doesn't work, friends. Okay, it doesn't work. There's a limit. Look, you're in the arena, bro. Yeah, there's a limited number of money to be made per day in the market because you don't have enough new money coming in with long-term supply mindset. Now, it is coming every day, but it's not enough to feed everybody all the time. So that's why it's a constant competition. So when you do copy trading, it's literally, oh my God, it's the worst thing you can do. So at best, you're like just feeding somebody else. At worst, you're just blowing your whole account because the people who know what they're doing, this is the worst thing as well. People who actually have profitable strategies, when you advertise your position to the public like that all the time, you get all these scum MEV quant nerds who should literally just be, we should just be finding a way to just delete them from crypto. They're literally pure subhuman filth. These scum friends, because what they're doing, they're literally doing the metaphorical equivalent of, they put a gun to a mother and her child at the supermarket. She's buying $3 milk, and they put a gun to their head, and they go, hey, it's not $3 anymore. It's $3.10. And then you've got to give the guy $3.10. Then he goes to the cash register, and then he gets the milk, and he allows to pay, and then he gives it back to the lady. And he's like, he's scalping 10 cents with a gun to everybody's head at the cash register. He's like, hey, it's money. It's my money. But that's pretty much what MEV, that's what all these MEV quant scum nerds are doing all the time. Now, here's the thing. The people with real strategies that work, when you keep advertising it, you have a big billboard out there saying, I'm a stupid idiot. Come copy my strategy, all of you people. And they do. They use AI stats, they mine you out, they find when you're getting in, when you're getting out, and then basically your edge decays over time. And then you got to relearn everything all over again. So that's why people who are profitable trading, they either don't tell you how they trade at all, or they change it so much it looks random, okay, when you talk to them, or they'll only show you the trade after they're in the winning position anyway. Like they'll go, hey, I'm coming on live stream, or hey, I'm showing this screenshot. It's like, oh, you're already onside the trade. Why don't you tell us when you were getting in, right? So that's just the reality of it. And then like it's even worse for those people is, 1% win. Okay, but the 99%, you waste mental energy, you waste time, and then 12 or 24 months passes, and like, what are you going to do? What if pDAI just goes back to 3 cents, bro? That's like 900%. You were not going to make a 900% on your capital, dude. You had no chance of doing that. One guy does, and it's not you. And he's not telling you how he's doing it, by the way. And by the way, that guy could just have a 50-50 shitty year the year after as well. That's another thing as well. Japan's bond market crisis may be fueling Bitcoin surge, they say. So Japan, friends, always one of these lurking issues because they have enormous debt for Japan. Their debt to GDP is like 250%, something ridiculous, but a lot of it's private sector. So yeah, if you want to know what's happening with Japan, it's just deflating in real time. Been going nowhere for 30 years, not having enough babies. They're just printing currency away. The Japanese central bank, the BOJ, Bank of Jelly Beans, they own, I think, 5 to 8% of the actual Nikkei index now. They just print money and buy it. So yeah, it is what it is. Hopefully Japan, Pokemon Island doesn't blow up. Trump media plans to raise $3 billion to buy Bitcoin as well, marking the biggest political backed push to make the US the crypto capital of the world. So as Bitcoin goes up, friends, everyone's just going to say, we're going to buy Bitcoin. It's on our balance sheet. It's going to go to $1 million. They're all going to say that. Okay. So we'll be fading them when the time is right. Let's pray it's just a repeat of 2017. We'll just see all these companies and we're like, man, do you guys really believe in Bitcoin? I don't think so. I think you're all full of shit. Like I look forward to seeing that time. And hopefully Bitcoin's price is like 250K by that point. And we're having alt seasons. This is a bit concerning. Bitcoin whales that hold more than 10,000 BTC are now net sellers. And smaller whales are accumulating. So I'm going to actually show you the data here. This is from Glasschode. So you can see, I think the blue part out here, I forgot even how you look at this. Oh, there you go, coins, cohorts by BTC. So yeah, I guess the big whales with more than 10,000 BTC, they've been selling into this whole rally the whole time. They've been dumping it over. That's what they do. They dump in a bull market. And then you have James Wynn as well saying, Bitcoin is about to explode. Yeah, just be careful, friends. You know what I mean? We'll see. We'll see how it's going to play out. We've also got AI projected to become the leading tech sector by 2033, surpassing all other industries in market value and investment growth. This is the pie chart. On the left, AI's 2.5 trillion. On the right, expected to be 16 trillion. Very interesting. AI expected to be huge. So AI and crypto, everybody says, there's a merging of them and everything out here. So we'll see. I mean, maybe we're the finance of how everything works, which is potential, right? So if you make any AI product, right, you definitely, you have to get payment in crypto because no one can ever shut it off. You have code that runs everything. There's no pause button or anything that can be done on it. So yeah, that's it's pretty much just a natural fit, I guess. And as well, friends, Dubai, Habibi Come to Dubai has launched real estate tokenization platform on XRP ledger. So that's a load of bullshit and no one cares about that. They will try it though. But tokenizing real estate, it's like this XRP retail fan fiction. They try it every cycle. It just never goes off. No one gives a crap. Okay, you want to tokenize anything, friends? US dollar, bro. It's StableCoin SuperCycle. No one cares about putting property and stuff on the real. That's just like, oh, I like crypto, but no, not really. The big money, the real money, you get the stable coins in there because why? It's liquid. Okay, if you can get people to put the stable coins on crypto, that's tokenizing real world asset, right? Tokenizing your short-term treasury account. You get them in crypto and everything's pegged to $1. They can actually go and buy and swap and they can actually spend stuff. That's the big growing point. So I can't help but wonder, right? James Wynn, this type of expectation, right? Expecting June and July to pretty much June and July to go up and blow off, you know, could be like that, friends. Like, I don't want to be eating my words, and then we do have like a 3-year bear market or anything, but I'm just going to stick to my guns, man. Uncle Bobby, BCB, Ivan, Crypto Banter. Everyone says it's over already in July. They all say it's over. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm waiting for Coinbase App Store #1 ranking. I'm waiting for Tai Lopez. I'm waiting for them to finally ban themselves from owning stocks to US government stuff. I'm waiting for a $1 billion public ICO raise. Man, that would be epic. I really want Richard to make a stream and mark the top. Man, that would be the best. If he actually came in, he just did another sacrifice. And it actually raised $1 billion. And obviously, hopefully, PulseChain's up like 50, 100x by then, right? Hopefully, pDAI is $1. Hopefully, right? Because then I'll be like, wow. One way to predict the top is to make the top. That would be great. And then we'd all know. It's kind of funny, right? You're probably seeing, but Sommi, there's no way that could ever work because everyone's aware of it. Emotions, my friends. Words mean nothing. Emotions. Okay? Because people, remember that when people come into crypto, they don't know our pain. They don't know what we sat through for 4 years. They don't know me about to go to sleep and then I see this news drop that Richard Hart's getting attacked by the SEC. Everything's down 66%. OKEX delisting. And everyone's saying, oh, well, we got scammed, didn't we? Like, it's all over. He's going to get raided by the feds. They don't know that feeling, bro. Okay? All they know is, okay, we trusted the guy who lived on top of a sandwich shop, was a fat dude twerking with a top hat, and now we're fucking rich. That's all they know. That's literally all they know. They go, wait a minute, you trusted that guy, and now you're all rich? I'm in. That's literally that they just go straight in. And you're like, no, bro, it's not what you think. It's not what you think. They're like, la, I can't hear you. And they'll just be probably like throwing it in. Here, wallet sacrifice. So maybe that's how it works out. But like, it would be interesting if it did, you know. And I'm not making this up, by the way. That's how it would be. They're like, okay, so I just got to wait 4 years. They're like, sweet. I was not going to make a lot of money in crypto in 4 years anyway. And then so begins the next cycle. Like, subscribe, Billy Button, or catch you soon.